Next, let's talk about the fourth objection, which is the classic, hey, we need to kind of think this over and we'll get back to you. These can be tricky because historically, if you think about all the prospects that you've ever met with who told you they have to think it over, get back to you, how many of them get back to you? Not very many. And so what you're going to want to do here, like we talked about when we worked on the objection on we want to interview other agents, we want to do another isolation here. So here's what you're going to do here. So step one, using our agreeable acknowledgement again, you can have your favorite one. Mine's just like, hey, listen, I think that makes sense. Step two, which is speaking through the prospect's point of view, you might say, listen, if I was you, obviously this is a big decision, and I'd probably want some time to kind of think it through before making any big decisions, so I totally understand. Then we get right into step three, which is our assumptive questions. And so here you're going to do some isolation. So Mr. and Mrs. Seller, can I ask you, when we talked about our pricing strategy, are you comfortable with the price I've recommended? And do you believe that's the right price for the home? Again, we're looking to pull an objection out. If they're not comfortable, we want them to tell us, no, you know what? The price is out of line. We think it's worth more. There's the objection you actually want to go back to and work through, because think it over might not be the actual objection, okay? Then you want to walk them through next and say, oh, well, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, Mr. and Mrs. Prospect, when we walked you through the numbers, when I walked you through how my flexible compensation worked, we talked about transfer tax, we talked about title, we talked about paying off the mortgage. Is this number that you are going to net when we sell the home in line with what you thought? And again, we're looking for them to say, yeah, we're comfortable with that number, or no, we thought we'd be getting a lot more than that. Okay, good. Well, then we need to spend some time there. Next, you're going to say, and lastly, I guess, let me ask you, if the day came where you decided to move forward, are you comfortable with me as your agent? Are you confident in my ability to get your property sold? We're looking for them to say, well, we didn't really like this about that, or this about what you said here. Whatever, the point of isolating objections is to pull out the real concerns, because here's what happens. In sales, the thing that they tell you up front is rarely the thing that's holding them back. And the classic, we need to think it over, more times than not, I would venture to say 90+% of the time, when a prospect says we need to think it over, it's not that they have to think it over. It's based on something else. And this is where you need to isolate that something else. Once you've isolated that there's nothing else, you can get right into step 4, which is using a value statement and say, Mr. and Mrs. Prospect, why don't we do this? Why don't we go ahead and get some paperwork done quickly? I'll go ahead and start doing some pre-marketing work to some of the buyer prospects that we talked about today. As you think it over the next couple of days, if you come to the decision where I'm not the right agent, I'll respect that. I'll come back to the property. I will rip up the agreement with you. We can shake hands and part ways as friends. And then you lead right into step number 5, which is gaining agreement. And you simply say, does that seem reasonable? Does that seem fair? Or you can use the classic, fair enough. So the next thing I really want you to do is, if you want to see how I deliver these objections in a live listing presentation, I made a video right here where you can see me handling these objections in a live listing presentation role play. Click this video right here, check it out, and I hope today's video provided you value. If it has, make sure you subscribe, like the video, and I will plan on seeing you guys in the next video very soon. Thank you guys so much for watching.